Welcome to this episode. We're going to talk about how digital thieves steal your money. So, how do thieves right now steal money from victims? And there's a lot. There's a lot. So, this video is already, let's see, possibly 30 seconds long, right? Since the start of this video to now, one person has been a victim across the world. That's how crazy it is. It's a matter of statistics, right? And it's almost scary to think about. But the truth is, criminals are trying hard. They do nothing but this, right? So that means they are really, really going for it, trying to get as much victims as possible. So it's concerning. And on the banking side, we try our best, okay? And it's almost a pain these days to try and, find out who's who, right? Because again, sometimes we end up blocking people's accounts that should not be. We end up, again, we're a fintech app, so we end up not trying to put some AI tools around it. But we are always behind these people. And sometimes you always have to watch out as well for our customers. So that's a concern. And I want to address that today. So mostly, I think a scary one for us, if you look at this, is the social engineering. I'll start with that one, right? Because they say this as well, the weakest link in any good IT system is always the humans. Okay. And so what that means then is if you look at it, it's easy to penetrate any system or bank or company if you can understand the humans. We're social these days, so we're easy to talk to, and it's easy to manipulate us as humans. And it's even more ashamed. So a lot of humans are actually ashamed to say it. When that happens, people are ashamed to actually say, listen, I've been duped. But there's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to everyone. I mean, we're talking about, I think in terms of social engineering, the other day where I think it was 2000 and I can't remember what year it was. Apparently, Jeff Bezos requested 1,000 charitable contribution, and millions of people fell for this and actually contributed because it was Jeff Bezos, right? And his account. Turns out it was hacked. Okay, so that's something again social engineering. That's where social engineering comes in. That it goes through a human, and there's nothing you can do because again, you assume you're speaking to another human. These people almost have no shame, and that's the concern, and that's what they play on as well. Because you think I'll be like, would someone really do this? Well, yes, they do it. Okay. You go into, I think it was Toyota in 2019, that happened as well, where they went in and actually all the senior executives were duped. And it was almost, I think it was about $37 million that they were duped. These are senior executives that actually work and all they do is make sure, and they're, again, very smart people. But then when it comes to just watching out and looking out for criminals, that's the last thing we do because we're so focused on working so that when these criminals coming from the side, it's hard to tell. The one again we all know about is just the whole, ATM points, withdrawing cash from the account. But a scary one, which I want to talk about, is digital uh, pickpockets. So digital pickpockets is basically, again, I don't know how to explain this, it's basically where someone approaches you and steals your money without knowing it. Okay. So there was a news the other day in London where an old lady sat there. I was looking on her phone. I was getting notifications that her account was being spent across the world and it's just like it's gone, finished. The consequence before they find out, right? So remember this movie as well. I think it was Catch by Will Smith. That happened as well, where they go in, and that's what people do these days. Okay, so from an AI point of view, you can easily pinpoint when someone's going in and trying to take cash out. However, if it turns out that they've gotten all the details, they pass through the relevant information, it's hard to stop those people, and that's a scary one. So this device, I think, again, I don't want to advertise the device, but there is a device now online that, this is my card. Okay, I hope no one's on the camera using this, but this is my wallet. Okay, and what happens then is this machine actually is able to see and pinpoint, look through this leather, okay, and is able to see your card numbers, including the front and the back and the CVV and the expiry dates. So if they have that full details, your full name, date of birth, in fact, some cards in the UK, I think Switzerland, and a few other European countries also show your sort code, IBAN, full number. So that would mean that they can go in with a camera device and just take that. They've gotten all the information they need, and you can just spend online with no problem because, again, validation will always come in and say, hey, what's this, what's that, and everything you get on the card. So that's a concern which I think we need to watch out for. It's called, again, I don't want to say it was really, really cheap to buy. It's about $50, which is crazy. And what they do is then, again, like I say, it's a camera device. And what they do is they go in, they video your device in a public place. So usually if you look at your typical wallet, put in your pocket. Okay, so what they do is they come with the camera, okay, and then they look through the camera. Again, it could just be a device that they hold this on their leg. You think they're just on the phone. When through, they're actually recording and seeing through your pocket into your wallet and your cards. That's crazy. And it's a lot. It's been around for 2 years. So if you're watching this, please to just go back, look at your wallet, and be careful with how you hold this. And there's no way. I think the point is, should you put your card this way or this way? It doesn't matter because they've seen through the wallet, they've seen through the leather, they've seen through your pulse, so they can just get the number, the digits that they want. It's concerning. It's crazy. And it's something I think we need to watch out for and just know. Okay, so the first step I think in avoiding any of these theft and criminals is to know that this is happening. When you know it's happening, then you find a way around it. And how do you stop it? Okay, so we can talk about that. So again, one obvious way is just go online on Amazon. You can always buy what's called RFID cards. Again, we're not selling it, so just go in and look for RFID cards. So what these ones do then is the fact that they block people coming in and actually tapping your card for payments. Okay. So you make sure you have that. If you're out in public, you make sure you have that so that it blocks these cards from going through. And that's important. Then I always talked about how important our wallets are these days. So if I look at my wallet, so I've got like 12 cards in here, which is my driving license, passport. There's a lot of information in here. And you have to think, do you really need it? Okay. So if you don't need it, if you're going for a run, you need to carry it around. If you're going to a shopping center where you think the maximum you're going to spend is $100, $200, just take your phone. Do you need this? No. So be careful about the information you carry around. I think that's one thing. Okay. You don't need too much information around you. There's a lot these days. I was talking about phones the other day. I think a typical person has 15,000 pictures on their phone, right? Then look at all the banking apps you have these days and all the private information you've got these days. Someone steals your phone, that's your problem. Okay. So that's one thing to realize that, listen, you're carrying around a lot of information. Therefore, you need to be careful with that. Same thing as well with this wallet. Got several cards in here. Be careful. No, listen, do you need this? If you don't take it around. Okay. Or if you do, then get a device. Again, these devices are really so you just think about it. The device to scan is about $50, £50. Cheap. That's how it is to scan and steal your information. To get a wallet is $50. A good wallet, right? Where it actually covers that information so that it doesn't go through. So please protect yourself and buy it because when it does happen to anyone, it's traumatizing. Even if you get your money back from the bank, it's traumatizing because you see it happen to you real time. That's a concern. It's like an attempted robbery. If someone comes into your house and robs you, you're still shaken by that. Even if the person gets caught, you're still shaken by that. And then the other point I think needless to say is obviously our own rings, right? So we have a smart ring, which again, these are MasterCard rings. And what happens then is you top up the ring and then you walk around with it and you make payments. So you tap to pay. Okay, so if this is the ATM machine, you just tap and you pay. Sorry, a POS machine, you tap, you pay. That's it. Okay, so there's no need to carry around a wallet. There's no need to carry around a phone these days if you don't need to. And how does this work? Again, it's a machine that it's a card that sits on top of your ring, such that you can tap to pay. And you don't have to use ours. So a lot of just search payment ring. Okay, a lot of payment ring providers are there these days, almost like fintechs and banks joining together to do this. So that's important. We are not a fan of people whose rings connect to your banking app directly, and that's another security concern. So a lot of providers of these payment rings, it connects to a banking app, which I think nullifies the point because if it's connected to your app and someone steals your ring, then your banking app is gone because someone has stolen your bank. Yeah, that's it on the ring. But what we do have is we have our own, which is basically is a prepaid ring. What happens? It automatically tops up every week or every month, depending from your bank. So if you have that, that means in truth. So for most of our customers, they top up about $500 a week, if at all. So if you top up $500 a week, that's all you're going to spend per week. So that's all you carry around with you. And if you're traveling, or if you're going for sports or anything, someone steals that, before they steal it, $10, $20, it comes up on your phone. You can, immediately deactivate the ring and deactivate the device and then reactivate it when you find it, or just get rid of it and buy a new one. Again, we will provide replacement rings for people as well if needed. So that's another protection, I think. Payment rings, I think, is important as long as it's not linked directly to your card or your bank. Because if it is, then it's the same thing. They might as well have stolen the information. So that's important. Make sure you get a payment ring. There's a lot these days. And again, I think I'm going to talk about palm as well, but palm again is a waste of time because anyone can scan your, palm, or even a high five, they can steal your fingerprints and do what they want to do. But if it's on the ring, it's hard to steal. And then secondly, our ring as well, also, you can't scan like this on our ring. So a few payment providers, I think you can make payments this way. And for us, you have to make a payment this way. So what that means then is when you tap, you always go this way. And good luck to anybody who comes like this, right? So that's important. So again, Guys, be safe, be careful, watch out, and know that these things are happening. If it happens, then you know to be careful. There's already, again, everyone knows about, I'm Nigerian. So, but everybody knows about the Nigerian prince now, okay? Because now you're careful. If someone comes to you and say, hey, I'm a prince, I'm from Nigeria, I've got an inheritance, you know about it. So you're protected there. Same thing as well if someone comes to you and goes, hey, there's a, what do you call it? I forgot no that. Yeah, there was the Yahoo boys as well, which was crazy back then. There's a lot, even the Indian guys as well, they'll come in and say, hey, we'll come from Microsoft. I want to help you take a computer and take over a computer. So these cliches are there, from different countries, and we know, okay, that's important to know, even though they are from different countries, by the way. But it's important to know that these things happen. Okay. And if they happen, then you're careful. You're aware it's happening. So the same thing with digital wallets, which I really want to spend time on. Please, please, please be careful. Know that this is happening. People are going with cameras and taking the card details and spending it. They might not spend it immediately. That's the most scary thing. Okay. So they might not spend it next week because they have the card, they have the information. What they do is they just wait 1 week, 2 weeks later, they go ahead and they spend it just when you're not prepared, when you don't know this happening. So please, please, guys, be careful out there, be safe, and be aware. Thank you and take care. Bye.